Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We are back. It's Tuesday. That means we're talking about wrestling. There is actually a lot to talk about. So somebody woke up last week and said, "Isn't there a women's division in this thing?" And they're like, "There is." Okay, well, let's schedule. Like, there is so much. I've got a full page, and I didn't even have many notes on stuff, so I'm gonna have to try to go from it by memory. So before we even get going here, let's do just some quick show updates. Sean and I are going to be doing. Oh, it says my camera's off. That's weird. But it's
your camera's on. I can see you.
You can definitely see me. That's weird. Man, StreamYard, why are you being weird to me today? So Sean and I are gonna be live this Thursday, and we're going to be talking about 90s comics. I believe we're on May now, May releases. No topic. We're just going to go through it all. So we'll see how it goes. And then Friday, I'm going to be on the Action Elite as part of, I guess, I don't know if it's the Four Horsemen again. We need to name ourselves something. There's the four of us. We're doing Death Warrant. Jean-Claude Van Damme. He goes to prison and comes out a hero. It's an early JCVD movie. I tweeted out the links. As I've said, there's literally zero excuse for you to not be on this stream watching. It's JCVD. If you do not appear, in the chat, then JCVD will put a curse on you. There's the JCVD curse. Many people who have scoffed at this curse have found themselves in awful predicaments. So you do not want to count yourself amongst those people because it sucks. So
and you may not be able to say the word plutonium correctly.
I love how he doesn't say it properly in that movie. So the links for the Action Elite are in the description of this stream. They are also they're in most of my videos, unless I feel that they may not, agree with what I'm talking about. So if I do a movie review, I put Action Elite's links. I put your links, Sean's links, right? I don't put everyone's. If I do something where I think, well, maybe the Action Elite isn't something that's going to, want to care about what I have to say about this. Like when I gave my, movie idea or something, I don't want them to, it's like they're not affiliated with that or whatever. But anyway, okay, so we're talking about SmackDown from May 6th. We're talking about Backlash, obviously, and we're talking about last night's Raw. Let's get into it here. So SmackDown May 6th started with Charlotte and Aaliyah. Charlotte's costume, her ring attire was really cool. I thought her outfit was really good.
Yeah.
And she did the hey, goodbye.
Yeah,
right?
goodbye.
She did the goodbye thing, which didn't happen. But and there wasn't even a match. Like basically, Charlotte and Aaliyah were supposed to have a match, and then that just didn't happen. Ronda came out and just put the kibosh on that. So I mean, there's not really anything to talk about. I thought her outfit was awesome. I'd like to see Aaliyah really go at it. I'm sure we'll see her in Toronto. Oh, I guess announcement. Steven and I are going to Monday Night Raw, August 22nd, my birthday month. And we got the VIP packages. We're meeting the celebrities or the superstars. We're getting the autographs. We're doing the full VIP package. I'm going to get so many pictures. I don't know who we're meeting, but you get to meet at least like 4 or 5 of the superstars. So I'm going to get pictures with everybody. I'm going to show everybody all that stuff. So make sure you're following me to see all of that, and we'll show it on the show as well. So that's going to be awesome. So that's going to be the VIP Monday, and it's Monday Night Raw, so all the great superstars are going to be on there. So I'm super looking forward to that. Okay, so Ronda came out and I mean, it took like 400 people to separate them.
I mean, couple of notes. I was glad Aaliyah didn't tap again because she went to the figure 8 and she's like, no, I'm not. And because Charlotte kept yelling tap and she's like, no. I'm like, Aaliyah's shown more in these 2 matches than she did in the previous. I don't know how many times she showed up.
Yeah.
So I was glad that, Canadian girl, glad she didn't tap out again.
Yep.
And Ronda came out and saved him, which I guess she didn't see fit to do for Drew Gulak. So that was kind of weird, but okay. And we'll talk a bit about that later.
Yeah.
But like Charlotte was supposed to face Aaliyah. That wasn't really much of a competition. And then there wasn't a contest anyway. So quite frankly, Aaliyah is still unbeaten against Charlotte Flair.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know what? I guess that's the most interesting way to do that. Best way for her.
Yeah.
Charlotte's taking a break now with her kayfabe, injury or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I guess that was pre-planned way ahead because they're like, you know what? I'm going to take a break. May as well lose to Ronda. And this way, it's like she only tapped or she only quit because her arm was broken.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that saves her status. Like, you're not going to continue on with a broken arm or whatever. But yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, it was just hype. It was just heat leading up to our match. We had Sasha Banks versus Shayna Basler. So this is days ago, and the thing is that my memory is so garbage. I don't even remember what happened this morning. If I had watched Monday Night Raw this morning, I still wouldn't remember what happened. But I guess I wrote down that there was a kick that was pretty bad. It was like an obvious miss.
Yeah.
It was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
So that, and then Shayna Basler won.
Yeah, Shayna Basler won. I think this is something they probably should have done leading up to WrestleMania to make it a little bit more interesting than they did.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they're giving Shayna Basler and Natalia like 2 actual pros, like the chances to do that. So kudos to them. This was a decent match because you got 2 very good performers.
Yeah.
But it wasn't there wasn't a lot of heat going into it. Like, it was a match. That's the best way I can explain it. It was a match.
Yeah, it's weird. I still can't get out of this jobber face. Like this, I don't remember the fellow's name, the Veer, or what's his name?
Veer Mahan.
Mahad. Like what they're doing with that guy, that's what used to happen with everybody.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh, I'm, Joe Bob from, Joe Bob's Pizza down the road, and then the guy just gets squashed. And it's like, okay, so that's how you pumped up a character. Now they don't really have a lot of these jobber females, so they're just kind of like, well, we just have to have a match of some kind. It's like, we'll just do these 2. But at least Basler won, and it was a bit of a thing. She was on the ropes or whatever. But
yeah,
it's something.
The identity of this team is they're smart and they're going to cut the corners because they're veterans and they know the tricks. Okay, that works. The problem is that the Glow and Boss team is just not exciting together. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it because they're both great apart.
Yeah.
But together they're just I'm honest that I don't like Sasha Banks as a straight up face. I like her as either a tweener or if you're going to make her a face with attitude. Make her someone. And they're not really like, she's coming out dancing with Naomi, and I'm kind of like,
yeah, why is this happening?
Why? Yeah, like this is not the Boss. The Boss came out and it was just pure attitude. And I find that Sasha loses some of her viciousness when she's a face. That is sort of her trademark, like what makes her special. So I'm really actually hoping they break up this team sooner rather than later, because it's not doing anything for either one of them. I think Naomi's cool in a very positive tag team with someone like you can put her with Raquel Rodriguez because she's always smiling. So there you go. Put her for Leah. Let Leah and her. They look like they'd be a good tag team. Like Sasha Banks, does not need this tag team. Naomi arguably needs it a bit more, but I'm more invested in Sasha Banks' character than Naomi at this point.
Yeah, they can do something with Naomi. Well, I'm like, I do bullet points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 bullet points. Like, so 12 talking points. That's the most I've ever seen in like since we've started this.
Yeah.
Like, it's never been this many. Okay, yeah. So they need to do something with Banks. I don't know what they're doing with her. Like, this team is going nowhere and getting there fast. Like, it's just like, oh, okay, I don't care about you guys. But yeah, speaking of going nowhere, getting there slow is Lacey. Lacey Evans, chapter 5. You know, it's like, and this was now about suicide and overdosing. I'm like, did we see this one? And I know there's another Lacey coming up, and I didn't even know what chapter it was. And I'm like, okay, I definitely saw some of this before. Like,
yeah.
I'm starting to get confused now. Like, even on SmackDown, which it was new material. I'm like, I've started to lose track of what we're talking about, and now I'm kind of like, okay,
they missed. If you're going to make it go this long, you need to make her a heel. I was like, you need to make her a heel at this point. You know, it's like when Randy Orton was injured and he was turning heel, he gave like fast fact. It was like 100 facts about Randy Orton,
right?
And he was being a heel. It was kind of funny, and it was serving a purpose, right? Or whatever the hell he did, that whole thing, like it was 20 years ago, so I don't really remember, but it's like, it was like that, right? Like, you need, you know, like what Matt Hardy 2.0 did, where he came out and there would be a fact there, and it's like, Matt is far more attractive to women than Jeff, or something like that, like something like that, like
yeah, some silly heel thing.
This is, and then she came out, and I'm like, okay, and people were like, yay, Lacey, and I'm like, but all I'm doing is hearing this terrible story. We can't.
I got pumped. She came out, I was like, yo, here we go, man. Here we go. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm like, no, but what happened here? It's like, you didn't come to the ring to say anything. You just came out and went back. It's like, no, it's like a turtle. Poked his head out, but went back in. You're like, I don't get what's happening here. I mean, I want to like her, so I'm going to keep my hopes up.
Well, it's impossible not to with this terrible story. And you're like, but what are you doing with it? Like,
what else? Suicide? Oh, okay, yeah.
And that should not be our attitude when the word suicide is used.
Yeah. Yeah. There's overdoses and suicides. It's like, okay. It's like, remember Heather's teenage suicide? Yeah. I mean, I like Lacey Evans anyways, so I'm definitely willing to give her a shot and see where she goes. So
they just have to do something with
get in there,
like, her story, because right now, I mean, it's impossible to make her a heel now, but she, you know, maybe she'll protect the people that Zia Lee is no longer protecting.
Yeah, Zia Lee went home
because she went home and we never saw her again.
I'm going to protect myself by staying at home.
I'm not protecting anyone anymore. Like, you never protected anyone to begin with. And you're not
maybe there was something lost in communication there. I'm going to protect only myself by staying home, not going out. It's like, yeah, that'll do it. I don't get what happened. Zia Lee, pretty exciting, you know, like entrance. Her costume was cool. She looks like a Mortal Kombat character, right? It's like Jade or something. I'm like, okay, this is cool. It's like we got the first Chinese, you know, female, whatever. Okay. And I don't know if just something happened. Maybe China called up and said, yo, you can't have this. And I'm like, okay, she's out. Maybe this is a Disney Plus. They're like, yeah, we need to edit that out. Oh shit. Yeah. Okay. China's on the line. They're saying edit her out.
Can't have Chinese people.
I know. I seriously don't even know. It seems weird, but I don't know. It's like they introduced her, they pumped her up, and then she came that big with that really weird promo, and then she's gone now. It's like, oh, okay.
Like, you failed even in your heel turn. Like, send her back to NXT if you don't like her. I don't know what to tell you.
Now because I was mimicking yawning, now I am yawning. Damn it! You should never play with the power of yawns.
Nope.
Okay, Backlash. So they had I'll talk about Rhea in a second. They had a Bianca info package or this big thing. I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm like, I thought she didn't have a match tonight. Yeah, no match. I'm like,
you're
it's
the
like
superstar. You're not seeing.
Yeah. I got this great crazy idea. Instead of watching the movie we promised you, why don't we show you the trailer again? No, it's like we know who she is. It's like Bianca Belair did all these amazing things, and you will not see her tonight. It's like, okay. Well, that was dumb. That actually kind of irritated me. I'm like, why is this even here then?
I know.
Bianca Belair, from a childhood became the best ever, athlete of all time, the best ever female to accomplish this, the first female to walk on the moon, the first female to, lift a house, and the first female in WWE ever. And it's like, yay! She's not here though.
Yeah, it was super. I was like, okay, well, I knew she wasn't appearing, so I was baffled, but I was also laughing because why don't we get a package now about Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hulk Hogan, 18-time champion, 2-time tag team, member of the Mega Powers. They exploded. They formed and then they exploded. And then it's like, what is happening right now? Is Hogan coming out? No, Hogan's not coming out. We're just doing random video.
We're just pumping you up for him to not show up.
Hogan. No, he's not coming in. Oh, okay.
No, there really are only 6 matches for this card.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up. Yeah, sit down. He's not coming out.
Yeah.
So the Judgment, what do they call Judgment Day?
Judgment Day, yeah.
T2. So we had Edge, who now I don't find boring because Rhea Ripley's with him.
Yeah.
They needed her more than she needed them, I think.
Yeah.
When she came in, because that match I was actually like not caring that much about. I was kind of like, I'm watching her there. And then it's like, oh, who's this mysterious person? It's like, oh shit, it's Rhea Ripley. I'm like, oh man. And she has her black hair now.
Yeah. Probably more suitable for her.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm assuming she's not going to be wrestling women anymore because now she's going to be wrestling men. I have no idea.
No, the Judgment Day is coming for everybody, man. It's gender neutral or whatever. It's got no.
You gotta love Judgment Day, man. There's no sexism with them. They're going to go after both genders.
Yeah, they're killing they're going after everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. Judgment Day is coming for you.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, well, I like that because it makes Judgment Day better now that now if they've got like different gendered people joining up, maybe they'll do something with these guys and girls. So all right,
I hope so.
Let's talk about the match. We got Ronda versus Charlotte. I Quit match. I actually thought it was pretty damn cool, man. The people
she brought out both kendo sticks. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, like I don't know. And then they kept screaming, "We want tables." It's like, okay, I mean,
who doesn't want tables?
Like you're not getting them. It's
like if I want to eat food, I want a table.
Yeah,
if I'm eating food. I can't eat on the floor.
Yeah,
so we all want tables. I don't know what you guys like. Ronda Rousey is not putting Charlotte Flair through a table, nor is Charlotte. Like I was baffled by why they kept chanting, "We want tables." Like I didn't see the Dudley Boys show up, and those guys, we always wanted them to grab a table. So I was baffled by the whole thing, and plus it was brutal. I mean, the women all wear pantyhose now. I don't know why. I mean, the only one who doesn't is Ronda, I think.
Right.
And
yes, they always get torn.
And this one, Charlotte tore it like it
2
tore
seconds.
Like, but it was a brutal match. It was pretty hard hitting. I gotta say, they left it all on the table. It was a really good match.
Yeah, like all the different moves through other items. Like it's like doing arm bars through a chair, and there was like, what else was there? There was like the top rope arm bar thingy was pretty neat.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting like things that happen, and then they tried to do the to show the arm breaking, but it was just her bending her arm.
Yeah, it was. She tried it 2 different ways. When she did it, I think she did it around the post or something. That looked somewhat better. Cool. Charlotte doing natural selection on the chair. I thought Ronda broke her own arm at one point because she was really favoring her right hand. It looked like she hurt it really bad on the fall. But it was a hard hitting affair, man. Like, it was. Kudos to both ladies. They left it all out on the floor, and they did a hell of a thing.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Like, it was actually a good match.
I mean, now the question ultimately becomes, what do you do with Ronda? Like, who's her opponent?
No, it's gonna have to be maybe Raquel or somebody. Just got in. Ronda Charlotte was way better than their Mania. Yeah, I agree. We were just saying that it's really good.
Yeah, I agree with that entire comment.
We just said that, buddy. You read our mind.
Yeah,
it's like, we want tables. You want them to do what? You want them to play checkers on the table? Like, I don't get it. Like, I challenge you to a checkers match. Like, it's like so stupid. I mean, they're doing their best. I hate when people can't accept the match that they're given. It's like, just watch the match that you're given. It's like, people like they did their best, man.
They left it on the floor, man. Like, I don't know. This is not a hardcore match.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they don't do that anymore where they pull out stop signs and trash can lids and shit like that. It's just, you get like candlesticks. They've been teasing the candlesticks and using the candlesticks throughout this entire thing. So it made sense that they pulled out a bunch of candlesticks and just wailed on it. Like, Ronda broke a candlestick over Charlotte Flair. It was splintered. I mean, they left it out. Like, I would have been, if I'd been there, I would have been totally chuffed for that match, man. I would have been like, this is amazing. So, yeah, I totally agree. Better than Mania. The guys who want tables don't know what you're talking about. Shut up and enjoy the match.
Plus, I actually say go kick rocks. I got that from this guy, this tattoo artist on Ink Master, who kept saying kick rocks, and I was like, yeah, I like that.
Kick rocks, man.
Okay, so let's talk about Monday Night Raw.
Holy crap.
Raw is war. Okay, there's a lot on here. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullet points that I have on here.
Okay.
Well, we won't do them in order because there's some of them are pretty rubbish. That Lacey Evans thing, again, I was like, okay, this time I've definitely seen some of these before. It's like they just took bits of each one and put it together. I'm like, you should have just done that as the beginning, in the first place.
But I was like, why is it on Raw? She's on SmackDown. Is she going to be on both? Is her story so terrible that you have to put her on both shows? Like,
yeah, I didn't get what was going on. I'm like, I was a bit stunned. And the thing is that, like, so I kind of like, I PVR'd all this stuff. Now, Raw, I didn't know, like, it was supposed to be preempted in Canada, and then it wasn't. So I missed like half an hour. So I actually was on my iPad. I was watching the half an hour I missed, and on the TV, I was watching it live. So I kind of had both things going.
Yeah.
So they overlapped eventually because you could fast forward a bit on the iPad, right? But I just thought that was weird. I'm like, okay, so is she on Raw or SmackDown, or is she on both? I don't know what's going on. So that was kind of weird. But okay. So we had Rhea come out with Edge, the Judgment Day. And she's like, oh, I'm tired of people selling my autograph on eBay and all that. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, like,
yeah, I was a little bit like,
rumors Lacey's going to be on Raw now.
If she's a heel, then it's all worth it.
Yeah, Steve said that. He said, she should be a heel. And you called that like chapter 1 or whatever it was, I think.
Yeah.
So now she's going to be on Raw. What a waste. They had all this stuff on SmackDown. I mean, is there anyone who doesn't watch both programs,
No.
you think?
I don't think there's anyone who's like, I only want to watch SmackDown because they're on each other's show so much. It's pointless. Like, the Usos show up to Raw all the time. RK Bro shows up to SmackDown all the time. Roman Reigns is the champion for both shows. Like, it's impossible. But I found Rhea's heel turn kind of wonky, and especially when like Edge, not wonky, like she works as a heel, but like the explanation was wonky. They were saying, oh, Edge is the one who convinced her to turn on, and it's like, when did he do that? The split second that she, because I would assume that Rhea knew they were going to lose both things, and if you know you're going to lose, why would you even show up? Like, it's just kind of silly.
Yeah, so it's like that evening. So when they lost, like she went back to the dressing room, Edge ran out and be like, hey, come talk to me. And then they talked for 2 minutes, and then now she's a villain. I mean, this is the fastest heel turn since Anakin Skywalker and Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, like when did Edge come out to tell her to turn on her?
Yeah,
like it happened in the ring. Like, was he under the ring whispering to her?
Yeah, I don't know.
I have to say, what the WWE misses the most is a guy like Chris Jericho to come out and point. Like when Edge was going on about, this movement. I'm like, what, bowel movement? Like, what is this? Like, you need the person to come out and cut these guys off and say, like, this is just, you're an idiot. Like, what are you talking about?
It's like, Edge, the only movement I care about is a bowel movement, which I did this morning. So I'm good, guys. I'm good.
You look like the movement I had this morning. I was in the bathroom and I happened to look. I'm like, damn, that looks like Edge.
I mean, so it's like, and Rhea Ripley, it's like, there's a skunk on top of your head. There's a skunk on your head. Get that off.
The thing I would say to Ripley is, AJ didn't hit you. I don't know why, because you're barely a woman and you certainly ain't a lady.
Yeah. Like, you got to get someone out there to really, like, kind of get this going.
You need to do stuff like that, man.
Yeah, she made herself too gothic.
I agree, Joe. 100% she needed a new direction. But for God's sake, do the heel turn properly where it makes, even if you just, like, even when she said, I'm tired of dragging these lesser talents with me, I'm like, okay, that works. Why now say, I'm tired of people taking my autograph and putting it on eBay?
Yeah, nobody's doing that.
Like, no.
Like, no one, everyone on her social media that posts is little girls who are trying to be like her. They've got their little lipsticks and all their crap. And it's like, she's got a fan base that's like a fan base of like people who really kind of believe in her more so than the character.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I think a lot of these people forget that it is still a character.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hearing a lot of people like, they like, with Wanda turning into a villain, and I'm like, well, wasn't it obvious that she was a villain? And a lot of people didn't know that. I'm like, oh, and they're like, oh no, she's a villain. I'm like, well, yeah, that's what she is. She's been mostly a villain in MCU, but anyways, it's like, but they forget that it's a character, right? It's like Rhea Ripley is still a character. She's not this person.
Yeah, this is not a reflection of, like, this is just the storyline. It's just really bad. Like, I mean, put her in Judgment Day. That's cool. It helps the group. I agree with Joe. She was spinning her wheels, for the love of God. But just her previous explanation was fine. You should have just said, I'm with a strong group now. I'm not dragging anyone with me anymore. We're now the alpha group, or whatever you have to say. But no, they have to, like, the problem is that either the script that they have is just terrible or something, because I'm sitting there tearing it to pieces in my head. Like if I was out there, this is what I'd be saying to these guys.
I
Yeah,
know what do they want? Like,
yeah, they're just like if Edge is omnipotent, then he's better than the champion because I don't think Roman Reigns is an omnipotent. So
he
he's
has
better
the
than Roman Reigns.
yeah. We haven't even acknowledged Roman Reigns. He keeps asking us to.
Yeah, he's like, acknowledge me. And I
No,
love when RKO Bro and that were like, acknowledge the sky is blue, the grass is green. Acknowledge! Like, finally someone did something with that.
yeah,
But like you need to do stuff like that. But the other thing I want to say about the whole Judgment Day thing is you now have Finn Balor and AJ Styles, two leaders of the Bullet Club from Japan. They do the Bullet Club thing where they,
yeah.
and I'm like, so get the Bullet Club in there. The Bullet Club versus Judgment Day is a good thing. But I was sitting there, even when they were coming out, I'm like, where's Liv Morgan? You need that. What they should have done is when
Liv
AJ
joins
went
them.
to punch Rhea, he stopped. Liv came in and punched Rhea.
Yeah,
and you're
so
like,
I know.
okay.
I was thinking that she would join up with them.
Yeah.
I was thinking that might happen or whatever, and then you can have like the three groups or whatever. Or I don't know, like Judgment Day. Maybe they're doing like are they trying to do like a Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse thing?
Well, they're going to need at least one more member. There is someone, if they're not going to use Liv, there's someone I think should join with Finn and AJ, and we'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay. Okay, so and then there was the match and Liv taps, boo. I wrote boo.
The match was, I got to say, I understood exactly what they were doing, but the match was not enjoyable to watch. It was just Liv taking a pounding, and I'm like,
yeah, that wasn't nice.
It
she
wasn't.
Got a few
it
good
wasn't
kicks
fun to
in,
watch.
But
it wasn't fun to watch. It needed to be done.
I know they need to make Rhea completely despicable.
Yeah,
and they did.
Yeah,
and Edge is despicable too. Like I was like, "F all you guys."
Yeah,
like it's like you guys, which is good.
Yeah,
because
that's what you want.
Yeah, prior to this, I was like, fast forward. It's like, oh, Edge is talking. Fast forward. Right now, it's like, oh crap, like they're despicable. So now I want to see them get beat up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, and Finn Balor and AJ Styles are two like legendary performers, so it's great to have those two going in. Unfortunately, this is like the aged Finn Balor, like they're not treating them as well as I think they should. I know why they're pumping up Judgment Day, and that's fine. But if you got the two guys coming out and they're doing the Bullet Club thing, they got to be smarter. They should have walked up and been like, and then 1 minute and went and got someone, right? Like obviously they can't count.
I don't know who they would like. Yeah, like who?
Oh, I know who I would get in there for them.
Who? Are you get to
Alexa Bliss?
Oh yeah, because she just returned.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we'll get that. So Liv just got beat up, which sucks because she's my favorite. But oh well.
It just wasn't a good thing to watch.
And then another garbage thing happened.
Yeah.
They terminated Sonya Deville. No, you're going the opposite of what was the thing that we wanted. It's like that was a boo. And then she just gets squashed. Alexa Bliss annihilates her.
So
what the hell? That entire thing was messed up.
I was so confused. Okay. First of all, she's talking to Adam Pearce and she's like, oh, I don't care who my opponent is and blah, blah, blah. And I'm a source and they're like, they're making this character dumber and dumber.
Yeah.
Like she should be like, I want videotape. I want to know where she went to school. I want to know everything. And Adam Pearce is like, well, we don't have all that. She's like, well, I'm not getting into the ring without being prepared. What do you think this is? Amateur hour? Like, do that. So she gets in the ring and they say Alexa Bliss. I'm excited because Alexa Bliss is one of my top 5 probably. Right? Alexa Bliss comes out and I'm like, what happened? So she left the psychiatrist's couch and she was still insane.
Bonkers.
Alexa Bliss. When she went to Saudi Arabia, she went there. She was still wearing the black and the outfit that we've seen her in. She lost, okay, disappeared, got married, came back, and she's now coming out looking like the goddess, but she's still got Lily, and she's mega happy.
I don't know what's going on with that character.
There's one. I was thinking of this in the shower. Hey, Double C. One thing I like how wait for music to play and walks. Yeah, they're like, when you're done with Liv, we'll start.
I know. Beat her
Do you
up
not care about young, vulnerable women getting beaten up?
Yeah, where were those douchebags where Liv, Morgan is getting her ass kicked?
Well, no wonder Liv didn't help them. She's like, F you guys didn't help me. Yeah, and like Edge is like taunting her while Rhea has her, and I'm like, someone stomp this guy.
Yeah, I despise them now, which is good. Because before we thought they were boring.
Yeah. Well, there's so many people now. Like I will say that there's a lot of good heels.
Yeah.
In the WWE, like this Theory guy.
Oh, Austin Theory.
Someone needs to murder him.
He's hilarious, man. This is like one of the favorite. His entire angle is super funny.
I know it's so good, but he's just
pretty boy Vince McMahon guy. Like, oh, me and Vince.
The man looks. His entire look screams douche.
Yeah, I know. He's great. His
name screams douche. Everything screams douche about him. It's crazy. But Alexa Bliss. So what I would have done, what I would do, so they won't do this. Right. What I would do is next week have her interviewed by one of those generic blondes who do all the interviewing. And she's like, oh, Alexa, you're back in the you're back on Raw. She's like, yeah, I'm so looking forward to, my first match back and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, you were here last week. She's like, no, I wasn't. Like, yeah, you came out, you had Lily, you beat Sonya Deville. She's like, no, that wasn't me. Right?
So she's two characters now. Yeah. She'll be like Mankind or whatever. Or Mick Foley where he was Dude Love and,
Yeah. Like, do that to still, because now I'm like, she came out of the Sasha, she had Lily. She hit the DDT and Twisted Bliss and she won. And I'm like, Alexa Bliss came back with superpowers, obviously. Like, John Cena had the 5 moves of doom. Yeah, she's awesome. John Cena had the 5 moves of doom. Alexa has the 2.
Yeah, people buy the doll, so they need to show that.
They loved. People went gaga for her as the Fiend's, assistant or whatever the hell she was.
Right.
And having Lily, and I'm like, okay, but it was like
they should. You know what would be really funny if they did what you're saying. And this is like Jacqueline Hyde from Wow, where she's good and bad. So she comes out and she's the goddess and she fights or whatever and she wins and the crowd. And then, like a week later, the next week or maybe on SmackDown, she comes out, or like they swap it. She comes out as whatever. What's her evil name again?
No, she's still Alexa Bliss. I guess the Fiend.
Fiend. So she comes out as the Fiend and she's all crazy. And then have a match where it's the Fiend versus the goddess and she beats herself up. She pulls a Bruce Campbell Evil Dead 2 where she just beats herself up.
What would be really good is if the goddess character is a face and the Fiend character is a heel.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, like you have them, and they're on different shows. So it's like one comes out on SmackDown, one comes out on Raw, and you're like, what is this? And she's like, and then whatever they mentioned about the other thing is like, she ignores it. It's like, oh, on SmackDown you fought someone. It's like, watch, I was never on SmackDown. I would never go on SmackDown. That's terrible. And
either that or she's like, I've heard about this Fiend person. Someone needs to take her out because, quite honestly, no one should be like that sort of person. And if she was on Raw, I would be that person. But too bad she's on SmackDown.
No, they should do that. They're not going to.
No.
Becky, Big Time Bex tweeted out during Backlash saying, she's like, when I was champion, I defended my title every pay-per-view. It's like, oh,
yep,
which is pretty funny, but true. It's like sorry, not sorry, true, not true. Like, it's like, not true, true. It is true. It's like, it's not,
Where's the Raw Women's Champion?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alexa Bliss came out. She beat up Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville's been fired. She will now be permanently she'll be permanently in the jobber division now. I guess forever and ever, chunky peanut butter. Like, I don't know. Like, Alexa Bliss came out and I'm like, I was completely confused. She won with 2 moves. I'm like, okay, now she's just super powered. Cool. I like Alexa Bliss.
And they're trying to say like Sonya Deville was just out of it or something, and she just like was so out of it that she didn't pay attention to the match.
Yeah, she was so distraught over being terminated. But still, like, I mean, I've sworn I've seen Alexa Bliss hit that DDT thousands of times and hit Twisted Bliss 1,000 times and never beat someone that quickly.
Yeah, that was a squash, and it was like, I like Sonya Deville. I like Alexa Bliss better than Sonya Deville, but like, I wish they'd do something more with Sonya Deville because they already had this established. I like these, like, I like these corporate people who are like, oh, I'm going to do whatever I want and you can't stop me.
The cheating corporate person.
The cheat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
That would be awesome, Joe.
That would be super funny.
I would. And
I like that angle with Ezekiel.
With Ezekiel, I hope that somehow they find like he's got someone who looks like him, a double, because I would love to see Kevin Owens' face if they brought out Elias. Like, that would be the end of it. Like, I would cry with laughter. Like, I would want to meet Ezekiel after that. I'm like, dude, you're.
And then Kevin Owens is like, oh, my brother's coming out. And it's like.
Kevin Owens is great, man. He came out with
the announcer the best, like, wow, it's like if not for the age difference, I'd say they look very similar. I absolutely love when the heel announcers or whatever are like oblivious to all logic. It's like the best to me. It's like, no, that's not him at all. It's like, what are you talking about?
Generally, I cannot stand Corey Graves. But that was good.
Yeah. Oh my God! It's like, wow! It's just, if not for the age difference, they look like the same person. Okay, Becky. Yeah, go ahead.
I think what the problem is with the announcers is what people didn't understand about Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon, or Jesse Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon, or Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler is. When you have the heel character doing something, you need that face commentary to be like, are you a moron? Once in a while. Like, Gorilla Monsoon would do that with both of those guys. And Jim Ross, I heard him saying, he called Jerry Lawler an ass. Like, I've heard him call him an ass. Right. Like, you need that guy to call out, hey, this is like ridiculous. Like, and get outraged at what the heel's doing because it's a good counterpoint. But these two guys with, like, Byron Saxton, the other dude with Corey Graves, it doesn't work because they're so bland.
Yeah, they're not funny enough. Like, when he's like, are you out of your mind, brain? It's like, are you blind? Yeah. It's like, oh, the Genetti thing and like all that.
Yeah.
But like everything that they would say and do is so funny. It's like, you gotta be kidding me, Heenan. And it's like, and like Jess the Body was great. And it's like, oh sure, the humanoids or whatever.
Yeah.
Like all the
Ham and Eggers, Mount Rivers.
About
Bobby was
Bob. And he had the porkettes or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
The oinkettes.
Yeah.
My God, he'd be canceled instantaneously.
After 30 years with WWE, Bobby Brain Heenan has been released after last night's segment.
Like, literally, because he had those 3 overweight women and he called them oinkettes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so. I mean, I could just watch compilations of them talking about random stuff. And it's just so
It's
funny.
outrageous.
He is so funny. Okay, speaking of, this was pretty funny. This Becky and Asuka.
Oh my god!
And she comes down and she's like, and Becky's like, this doesn't make any sense. Wait a minute, you planned all of this? It's like, what is happening right now? And she's like, oh, you're stacking the deck against me and everything. It's like, oh, okay. And Asuka's like, you act like a baby.
I love how Asuka like just starts yelling in Japanese at Becky,
and then she realized
Becky's going to give her that reaction.
Becky is the funniest heel of all time.
Yeah,
her face, her glasses when she came out, it's like, what is happening? I've not like, it's the most ridiculous. It looks like a VR helmet or something. Oh my god! But no, that interview was like, is just like nonsense.
It's just like he's talking to Asuka. She's like, you're handing her the championship match. She's like, no, I'm not. He's like, she's got to have a number. She's got to beat Bianca. She's like, so she's got to beat the champion in order to have a match to beat the champion. She's like, that makes no sense. I'm like, no, actually, she's right. It does make no sense.
Yeah, I know.
I just love Asuka losing it on Becky, and she's like trying to find the right word. She's like, she's like, you're the your mother, and now you act like big, and she's doing like the
It's like, what is going on? It's so
Asuka is honestly, again, one of my favorites.
She's funny.
I love Asuka. She is so funny.
Oh, be fair to Flair, yeah. And yeah, that's the Royal Rumble. Okay, so I've watched that several times just for Bobby Heenan talking, because he was so distraught. Like when Ric Flair came out as like number 3 or whatever he was. And he's like, no, oh no, this can't be happening. Oh my god. And then like I can't remember who it was, like one of the wrestlers came out and saved Ric Flair. He's like, I'll never make fun of you. Oh no, it was Roddy Piper. He's like, it's a kilt. It's not a skirt. It's a kilt. Piper, you're the best. You're the best. And then Piper turned on Flair. He's like, no, you know what? Screw it. It is a dress. You're wearing a dress. I swear, like, I mean, that like Bobby Heenan was having like aneurysms. He was having like heart. He's like, no, this can't. Oh my god, what's happening? Because Flair, I think Flair was number 3. He was like number 3 or something in that Royal. He won anyways, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god. But like, that entire thing was so funny.
Bobby Heenan was honestly one of the best personalities ever. There'll never be one like him again.
Yeah, no, that was on his acceptance in the Hall of Fame, he goes, I have a confession to make. I bet on wrestling.
But it was awesome. Like he said, and he was, I think he had his tongue. There's something wrong with his throat at that point.
Yeah.
But he says, the only thing that's missing now is Monsoon. And
that was sad.
I honestly think, like, for me growing up, it was Gorilla Monsoon and either Jesse Ventura or Bobby Heenan. Like, Gorilla Monsoon was
he's great.
Awesome. They tried to make him I hate it when they made him like the commissioner or something, and he was made fun of by DX and flipped off by us. I'm like, no. Yeah. Don't do this with someone like Gorilla Monsoon. He was honestly one of my favorite commentators for anything. So.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Yeah, I remember. Commissioner or whatever he was. It's like, I didn't like that at all. Just because they made fun of him, it's like, no. Some guys, like, it's just like, you don't make fun of them. You don't make fun of Mick Foley. You don't
Sergeant Slaughter.
Sergeant Slaughter too. Yeah, like some of these guys, it's like you just don't. So the women have main evented Raw 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, arguably, they're telling more active stories, I think, with the women, because what's Roman Reigns is.
I don't know what that guy does anymore. Now. He literally walks in. It's like, acknowledge me. It's like, okay, there you are.
He comes in the ring. He's like, acknowledge me. Paul Heyman stands there for 2 bouts.
Yeah.
And the 2 souls are flanking him. He says a bunch of words and he leaves. I'm like, so who's challenging him? Like, it's obviously Drew McIntyre. Well, have him challenge him. What is going on? In fact, what they should do again, they're not smart enough to do this, is have Drew McIntyre talk to Bobby Lashley or someone on Raw and go like, look, you challenge him on Raw, I'll challenge him on SmackDown. We'll weaken him. One of us will get through.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like, use what you're doing to an advantage. Make it make sense. But they're not doing anything. The biggest faces and the most used faces now on either show for me are RK Bro. I see them all the time. Promos, matches.
They're all on there.
Behind us, like, I'm like, RK Bro is WWE right now. They're super popular. I get it, but like, they are the entire thing.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit kind of like, I'm good.
Yeah,
like I like them, but then now it's like oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. When's Raquel coming on to wrestle again?
Yeah.
Where's Zia Lee? Where's everybody else that you have? What's going on with these other characters? It's like, I know RK Bro. It's like, I get it. Them and Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, it's starting to get a little bit stale because nothing's. I feel like it's not going anywhere, and I don't see the plan. Like, now that Judgment Day, they got Rhea Ripley. I'm like, okay, they're going forward with this. Okay, they're getting new members. Maybe they'll get a couple more, and they'll be like a big faction. And it'll be like, okay, you're going to be judged, and then you're judged worthy or not, or whatever. Something, I don't know. Like, maybe they're going to do something with that. Then it's like, okay, I can kind of try to see where you're going, but I just don't get what's happening with these other people. Okay, so we got Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Nikki and Doudrop, which they sort of said, "Oh, Nikki, you got to get serious now." So I guess she's going to drop the superhero thing pretty soon. Thank God. And I mean,
it was kind of how that match had to play out, which is Doudrop was kind of dominating, and then Nikki came in, and she's like, "No, tag me," and she's like, "No, don't worry, I got it," and then she loses, and I'm like, yes, if you're going to do something better with the Nikki character, drop the almost a superhero and make her something else, please.
Yeah.
I can't take it seriously until they do something with her like that.
Yeah, I don't have any idea of what I would do. I'd have to really kind of sit and think about where I could fit her in and do something with these people. But like, this almost is, I don't like when there's, even when Owen Hart was the Blue Blazer, which, was kind of cool. But like, again, it's like, you're not a superhero. I don't like that kind of, like meshing that up. Like,
or the Hurricane.
Like, yeah. I don't know. I can't get, I love superheroes. Duh. That's what my channel is mostly about. But like, I just can't, I don't like it in there. It just doesn't feel right to me. There's some bad moves there too. Like that DDT, they're waiting.
Yeah.
It's like literally like,
yeah.
Oh, there you are. Like, oh, dear.
Even in the Liv Rhea match, there was Liv delivered a really bad DDT where you could see Rhea's head and went nowhere
near.
She just flipped right over.
Yeah, you could have parked a car underneath that.
And you see, my problem was, and they tried to, and I understood I kind of understood why they did it, was Jake Roberts was finisher with the DDT, always do it. The guy never flipped. It just went face down. And I think what happened is he was having a match with Ricky Steamboat, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And Ricky Steamboat, he's like, like they were doing a thing, and he's like, Ricky Steamboat's like, DDT me on the floor. And Jake Roberts was like, no, that's concrete. You'll get hurt. And Ricky Steamboat's like, no, I'll be fine. Well, Jake Roberts DDT'd him on the concrete and knocked him the freak out.
Oh, shit.
So I think, but the problem is that now that they do these, spike DDTs where they flip over, now you can see their head is not actually hitting.
I got you. So it's more like, it's like this, and then they come around.
Yeah, they're just literally like flipping them over on their back,
right?
Instead of doing it. It's probably safer, but it doesn't look like when Jake Roberts gave you.
Oh shit! Yeah,
you were dead.
I know people. I don't remember. I remember someone kicked out of it. I think at one point, and that's what I think that was like the first time where I saw. I think someone had kicked out, or maybe it was a different move. But I remember thinking like, it's like no, you should not be getting out of a DDT. That was the best move ever.
Yeah,
and it was just like boom. Like stunner is pretty good, but it never really looked right to me. But
well,
DDT
usually the
sometimes
reaction was hilarious.
right. So it was more of a jokey move, but DDT looked like it's like, oh shit, he just dropped that guy. Like
yeah,
on his head.
I mean, like there needs to be even the crossroads that Cody does. It looks a little bit like he takes more damage than the opponent. Like,
right.
Like when I think of like really good finish moves, I think of the mandible claw, which was a really good move. Like the code breaker, like the knees to the face. That looked like a cool move. The DDT is like, because of how they do it now, it's hard for me to watch, because when Jake Roberts, and that's where we all first saw the DDT, it was amazing. It was like, holy crap. This is like, it's funny because no one thought of doing that before, but like, yeah, it's just.
I think like powerbomb, DDT, those are kind of the ones where I really liked.
Wow. The powerbomb, I liked the more like you ride the guy down, like, Ahmed Johnson's Pearl River Punch.
Yeah, Ahmed Johnson was the champion of messing up guys, right?
Oh yeah, he was stiffer now. Yeah, I agree, Joe. Like, do drop. You're named after condensation. Just get a new name. I take you seriously.
I do like Mountain Dew though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a weird to do drop. Okay. We talked about Lacey Evans, and then we had Asuka versus Bianca with Becky and her crazy sunglasses, which were like the greatest sunglasses. It's like she comes out, it's like, oh yeah. She's just the funniest.
See, the problem with this one was when Becky came out, you knew she was going to interfere.
Of course.
But this is a match I want to see legit because both are really good. Like, Asuka's really good, Bianca's really good. I'm like, I want to.
They can't have that just on a regular show.
No, it's got to be a PPV. And now, obviously, the next one's Money in the Bank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be a 3-way match. Bianca, Asuka, Becky for the belt.
Yeah. So Bianca will win that.
I assume so. I don't see why she wouldn't.
Like, Bianca Belair is a very popular person on like, I mean, this is like one of these. Yeah, like this is one of these. This is like one of these people where it's like a lot of like fans, especially like the female fans too, and then I guess if you want to say black female fans, if you want to do another subcategory, really like her a lot. And she can't really turn into a heel. Like,
she'll never be. It can't happen.
It can't happen. Yeah,
she's too inspirational.
Right.
That it'd be very hard to turn. Like, it would be very brave to turn her, but it wouldn't work.
I don't think it would work at all. She has like that sort of like very pretty face where it just doesn't feel like Becky. What's great about Becky is that like she looks cool. Like, I kind of think like she looks cool. So that could be, mean or good. It's like Shawn Michaels. Like, he looked like a cool guy. So it's like he could be a dick guy, or he could be like, yeah, I'm just a cool guy. Hey, what's up? But like Bianca has like very like pretty, like very pretty face. So it's like she's, even if she was trying to be mean, it's like, no. Right. So that's the thing to see. Like Charlotte Flair is like villain. She's got that very bitchy face. Like, yeah, I'm better than
resting
you.
bitch face.
Resting, yeah, which is perfect. Like Liv Morgan is too cute. She can't really be like, I can't, like, even if she's a heel, it's like, but I can't, like, it's just not work. Like, she could be a heel, I guess, but I don't know if Riot Squad, were they heels or?
Yeah, they were heels when they first started.
But I saw some stuff with Riot Squad. It just doesn't, it's like, no. But yeah,
Yeah.
Bianca's too inspirational. Like if you look at her, like she does a lot of stuff, and she does like those Make-A-Wish things or whatever that WWE does, like so many of those. I mean, that's just like not gonna happen.
So she's also got too high powered an arsenal, like too crowd pleasing an arsenal. Like Mick Foley talked a lot about the art of being a heel.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about working in ECW. And he said, I was in a problem. I was in a spot because I was working as a top heel. People were still cheering me.
Right.
And I was like, how the hell do I do it? And what he realized was, I'm still giving fans what they want. I'm still doing these big punches and these big moves. So what he did is he changed his repertoire to a lot of headlocks. Boring moves.
Oh, wow.
Right? And people started to really hate him because he wasn't giving them the big things. And like people would say to him, you know, you saw, and he'd like rear back his head and then he'd put a headlock on. Right? Like he wasn't going to give in, and people really started to hate him. Mick Foley needs to get a lot of credit for getting into the psychology of
that's insane.
You, why fans like you. Right.
Wow, that's crazy. I never knew that. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Because you could write the story, but the person's the person, right? Like let's catch up on there's only a couple. I think Undertaker at WrestleMania 8. I remember he kicked out of a sit up from it. Yeah, and right.
Well, if there's one guy who's going to kick out of this DDT, it's going to be the Undertaker.
I remember thinking it was weird.
Yeah, I was thinking of that the other day, Joe. I was like, Bailey's got to be coming back soon. Hopefully,
we haven't seen. I see the toys of her, so she's like.
Yeah, she had her own talk show, Ding Dong Hello, and all that. Like, she was very popular as a face, but like she really came into her own as a heel, and I hope she comes back as a heel. When she and Sasha Banks were together, that was a tag team that worked because they were just like mean girls. They just like picked on people and did all sorts of.
Yeah, that might be good.
That was awesome.
Doudrop was she with
Eva Marie?
Oh, she was with Eva Marie. That's okay.
And that was a good concept because Eva Marie would be announced. She didn't wrestle. Doudrop wrestled for her. When Doudrop would win, Eva Marie would take it and say, "The winner is Eva Marie." She didn't wrestle.
Oh, that was a good angle.
That was a good angle, but they didn't. Doudrop turned on her, turned face,
which would eventually happen.
Yeah,
right?
But they did it like, really quick,
too fast.
Yeah,
they don't. They need, there's a little bit of an art to it where it's like you gotta do it just until the audience is like, okay, enough already, and then do it.
Yeah,
and it's hard. It's really hard to tell when that's the right time.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Sonya Deville, for example, should have been like, oh, I think, or terminated as her, announcer or the authority. And it's like they should have done something more with that authority and made it more irritating. The villains, like it's like Edge, like Edge laughing at Liv Morgan while she's beat up because Liv is cute and Rhea just dismantles her. And then Edge is like laughing at her. It's like, okay, buddy, screw you. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Right. It's like Roman Reigns like acknowledged me. It's like, well, you're not really doing anything too sinister. And it's like, plus when you're fighting Brock Lesnar, it's like, well, I'm not really on Brock Lesnar's side either. So I'm really not on anyone's side. I'm not cheering for Brock Lesnar to win either because like he's a dick too. So it's like, or at least he's, that's my perception of that character. So it's not like Ronda, who kind of like people liked her from MMA and then she was in a few movies and stuff. So it's like she kind of had that going for her. These guys don't really have that. So you're just like, you need to create this heat by really being dicks. It's different now, right? Like back then it'd be like, oh, $10 million man's just, he's a cheat. He's paying off people. It's like, all right, I guess that's enough to be a heel. Now you got to do like actual sinister crap.
Roman Reigns, the mistake that they made, that they were doing so well, Brock Lesnar, is Paul Heyman needs to do 90% of the talking.
Right.
Everyone hates Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman can never be a face. So you need to have Paul Heyman doing the acknowledge me, acknowledge your tribal chief, acknowledge the head of the table. Like, you need Paul Heyman to do it. Right? Like, Roman Reigns' problem is that he's come out, acknowledge me and all that, and people are on his side. And I'm like, now he does have the bloodline, and he does the smart thing of having the 3-on-1 attacks a lot. And
I like the bloodline idea a lot. I think that's really cool.
it's a great idea.
Yeah, and I like this idea of unifying all belts.
Yeah.
Like the bloodline has all the belts.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
You missed one thing with the women, which was Dana Brooke. It wasn't a match. It was
I didn't even bother because it's so silly. Yeah, Dana Brooke and Tamina with their male counterparts.
I will say this. Dana Brooke and Tamina should now be a tag team.
They should. The Broken Hearts or something? Or?
Yeah. And they should now challenge for the belts. Like, you have that now. Now, the hilarious thing is you could have Dana Brooke pinned and Sasha Banks is like, now do I get her belt or like what happens now, right? Like, you could do that sort of thing. But like, get Dana Brooke and Tamina, make them a tag team.
I really like this idea that you had said where you have the 4 women, like the Queen of Spades, Queen of Clubs, Queen of Hearts, like Queen of Diamonds. I mean, you could have had, Zelina in there and Carmella, or you could do Tamina and Dana Brooke.
Yeah.
And Tamina could be Clubs and maybe Dana Brooke could be Diamonds, maybe. Because it's like Queen of Spades, Queen of Hearts, that's really cool. You need to have 2 more, and you need to have 4 queens or whatever.
And then, you have the Queen's Army.
The Queen's Army, yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know. That's really neat.
They need to. They're building something fine with Judgment Day. We still have to wait to see what they're planning to do. But like, you need more factions, right? They sort of got away from factions a bit because they didn't know what to do with them, and it's this guy teaming randomly with this guy, and this guy teaming no. Which is why I enjoy the idea of the Bullet Club coming, like forming now. Now they're obviously not going to call them the Bullet Club. They could allude to that and say, Edge, like something along the lines of, if I were you, I'd be ducking bullets
or something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
or something like that.
And they could have Alexa Bliss.
You're number 1 with a bullet, like something like that. Like, tease that, because I think that makes sense. Like, if them coming out and doing that, I'm like, no, you're doing the Bullet Club thing now. So like, do it. It's like
should have Alexa Bliss. They should have somebody like join. They need a woman now. So
they need a cool woman to join that team, like someone who can face Rhea Ripley. Honestly, that's when you get Raquel Rodriguez in.
Yeah, that's supposed to get her in there. I like Raquel.
Yeah.
In the 2 seconds we saw her.
She was very happy.
Yeah, which is fine.
She never stopped smiling.
I guess better than being a stick in the mud or protecting others.
Yeah. Zia Lee's the best, man. I love Zia Lee.
I feel so bad for her because it's like, I'm only going to protect me. Okay, where are you? Like, maybe she meant wear a mask.
I mean, that was a heel turn for someone I didn't care about. And then I didn't even care about, like, you didn't even care to show up after that. Was that you saying you're going home? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't go.
Bad.
That was so funny. It's like, I'm going to protect myself. Okay.
Yeah.
Remember Austin Powers? Allow myself to introduce myself. He's supposed to say, allow me to introduce myself. But he says, allow myself to introduce myself. Oh my god!
Oh,
All right,
dear.
guys. We went overtime, which is okay. So Steve and I are going to be going to Raw. We're going to go to Monday Night Raw VIP package. That's in August, so not anytime soon, but hopefully by that time we'll have some good people there that we can meet up. So I don't know how many exactly you meet, but you do. Most people, it's like at least 3 or 4 for sure. There's usually one of the females, and right now, if it's anyone on Raw, that'd be awesome because they're all pretty good on Raw right now. So
I'd be super happy to meet any of them.
Yeah. So that's going to be awesome. So we'll see how that goes. But okay, guys, we're going to, Sean and I are going to be back talking about some 90s comics. That's going to be this Thursday. Friday, I'm going to be on the Action Elite talking about Death Warrant, Jean-Claude Van Damme's Death Warrant prison movie. So you know it's good. And so hope to see you guys there. And I think Action Elite is live right now, or they're going live in a bit to talk about Ambulance, which I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I have not seen Ambulance, so I don't actually know if it's any good or not. So I'm going to try to catch them and see what they're up to. But and Saturday, the Phantom Zone is back. Open chat. We could beat up that garbage Moon Knight. We could talk about how great Doctor Strange was. We could talk about how so Lois and Clark is, and how Flash, after 3 really good episodes, had a really bland Yoso episode, and Killer Frost is dead, like legit dead. They're having a funeral for her this week, so which is fine because they need to get rid of some of these people. Yeah, and Ezra Miller is still going to continue being the Flash, I heard. So fail again. Anyways, guys, that is it. We will see you next time.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.